Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. Unlike pirates and even some Marines nowadays, the Revolutionary Army members don't have a bounty on their head. Now, although they're sought after, they are not targeted by bounty hunters, something that makes many people quite curious about why the world government and not even the Navy so far have put a bounty on their members. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the reasons that led the world government to avoid putting a bounty on members of the Revolutionary Army and what advantage revolutionaries have for not having a bounty on their head. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like and even subscribe and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and it keeps motivating us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, as we know, revolutionaries have no bounties or rewards that are posted on their posters. And this is quite different from pirates and even some of the Marines that now that the Cross Guild has issued their bounties. Now, one of the reasons why the Revolutionary Army's members in One Piece don't have a bounty is because they're not considered pirates. While pirates are considered criminals by the Navy and the world government, the Revolutionary Army is an organization that seeks to change the political and social system of the One Piece world and has no interest in committing acts of piracy or other criminal activities. Instead, they fight against injustice and oppression and believe that change must be achieved through peaceful means. Although on some occasions that peaceful way becomes a bit more extravagant, as in the current events in Marijois. Another reason why Revolutionary Army members don't have bounties is because they are a very secretive and mysterious organization. They operate in the shadows, away from the public eye and the Navy, and their true nature, goals, and even membership is probably unknown to most people. So it's quite possible that this is the reason that the Navy may not be aware of its existence or at least all of its activities. And there is no reason to issue bounties to its members. After all, only a few revolutionary members have their identity revealed, being those who commanded the organization, such as Monkey D. Dragon, Sabo, Kuma, Emporio Vonkov, and a few other of the commanders. Furthermore, the Revolutionary Army is quite a powerful organization, and the Navy may not want to risk the safety of its officers by issuing bounty on its members. If the Navy were to issue bounties to members of the Revolutionary Army, it could trigger an even more aggressive response from that organization and increase the likelihood of conflict. However, this doesn't mean that the Revolutionary Army members are any less dangerous or less sought after than, say, high bounty pirates. They're considered one of the greatest threats to the world government and the established order, and the Navy will certainly do anything in its power to impede that progress. Even without rewards, Revolutionary Army members are considered priority targets for the Navy and are feared for their skill and power. Even the admirals have difficulties being able to face them. Based on the various things that the bounty system was currently created under, it would become ineffective to place bounties on revolutionaries for the simple fact that their members would be practically impossible to capture by bounty hunters or even regular citizens for that matter. After all, bounties are a very important element of the One Piece universe and are used to measure a sort of power or threat that pirates present to the world government. Bounties are issued for the purpose of making it easier to catch pirates and other people causing big trouble worldwide. Now, rewards are given in berries, the official currency of the One Piece world, and the higher the reward, the more dangerous and wanted that individual is. And the pirates with the highest bounties are considered the most feared and powerful and are often known as the Yonko, or the Four Emperors. We've even seen pirates who together would be able to be as strong as a Yonko individually. Pirates which were called warlords. These were pirates that followed the orders of the world government and maintained the balance between the three pillars of the world, namely the Navy, the warlords, and the Yonko. Now, though we don't know the total metric that bounties are calculated on, we can assume that bounties are calculated based on a certain number of factors, including the amount of damage and violence the individual has inflicted, the level of influence the pirate or individual has over others, and the threat they pose to the world government and their interests. The bounty is determined by a team of world government analysts who analyze the data collected on the pirate in question. Now, these are very important people within the big organization that runs the world of One Piece. Now, obviously, the pirates with the highest bounties will often have incredible skills and are able to use certain battle techniques that make them formidable opponents. And they also often have powerful crews and have been known to commit extreme acts of piracy that attract the attention of the authorities. Some notable examples of characters with high bounties include our captain, Monkey D. Luffy, with a current bounty of 1.5 billion berries, as well as the former pirate king Goldie Roger, who used to have a bounty of 5.5 billion berries when he was still alive. The bounties are also used by pirates as a marketing tool, and they often often display them as a way to prove their strength and intimidate their opponents. And often, the most powerful pirates are recognized for their bounties and may even be feared or revered by those who know them. Speaking of the marine bounties, currently the Cross Guild has cataloged all the Marines and sailors and placed bounties on their heads, just like the world government has done with pirates. Now, because of their great notoriety and fame for being a Yonko crew consisting of 3 great pirates known as Buggy, Crocodile, and Mihawk, the Cross Guild has turned the tables on the Navy as well as the world government. Now, in theory, the world government could offer bounties on the heads of every member of the Revolutionary Army, just like they do with pirates. However, there are several reasons why this might not be a viable or desirable option. First of all, the Revolutionary Army is extremely large and a powerful organization made up of thousands of members spread all over the world. So offering rewards for each of these members would be a monumental and possibly impossible task for the Navy and the world government, because it would require significant intelligence effort and financial resources to do all of the bounty figuring. Furthermore, the Revolutionary Army is an organization that seeks to change the political and social system of the One Piece world. And for this reason, offering bounties on their heads would be a way of criminalizing them and also legitimizing their pursuit and execution. This might not only increase the Revolutionary Army's popularity and support among certain areas of the world, but also make them even more determined to achieve their goals, because they are under the watchful eye of the world government, at least more than they are currently. Another issue to consider is that the Revolutionary Army is led by the charismatic Monkey D. Dragon, who is one of the most wanted characters, if not the most dangerous person in the One Piece world. And if the world government offered bounties on his head, it could lead to a violent backlash and even a popular uprising across the world, as he's seen by many as a leader who fights for the rights of the oppressed and the underprivileged. Finally, offering bounties on the heads of every member of the Revolutionary Army could be seen as a desperate measure, and one that recognizes the threat the organization poses to the established system. This could in fact diminish the credibility and authority of the world government as well as the Navy, and could lead to greater distrust and instability throughout the entire One Piece world. So the absence of bounties on their heads allows them to move freely without having to worry about bounty hunters or Marines constantly chasing them during their missions. Revolutionary Army members can also infiltrate areas controlled by the world government without being detected easily, and this provides them with the opportunity to gather valuable information and intelligence to carry out secret missions that have been demonstrated multiple times throughout our One Piece story. Adding in the fact that the Revolutionary Army is also made up of highly skilled individuals, including the leaders themselves. For instance, Dragon as Sabo, as well as their other subordinates. They have military training and advanced combat strategies that allow them to fight powerful enemies and escape dangerous situations. Another uncalculable advantage of the Revolutionary Army is the support that they receive from individuals across the world, including those that are still oppressed by the world government. They're able to communicate and mobilize their supporters through covert communication networks, which allow them to act more freely and effectively and in a more coordinated manner. However, despite these advantages, the Revolutionary Army faces many challenges and obstacles in its fight against the world government. They're considered a criminal organization by the governments of the world, and their members are relentlessly pursued by the world government and certain Marine agents. Because of this gray area that they operate in kind of legally in the world, it also means that they could be set upon by very powerful enemies, such as Cypherpole, any of the world government's allies, even the Navy or SSG, who are ultimately going to look to thwart their plans and capture the leaders. In conclusion, the lack of bounties on their heads allows the Revolutionary Army a greater freedom of movement and the opportunity to gather valuable intelligence, but their fight against the world government still remains an uphill and dangerous battle. And it's because of this kind of slippery slope that the world government finds themselves in. Sure, they could offer bounties, but let's also remember the other points that I've made in the video. These bounties would draw attention to the very party they don't want getting attention on. Sure, a pirate could be flashy, somebody like Doflamingo could take over an entire country like Dressrosa, but that's not like what the Revolutionary Army is looking to do. They are looking to undo the status quo and the system that is currently corrupting the entire world. And that's something that the world government, and more importantly, the world nobles, just couldn't tolerate. But now that we've covered all that, my friends, we'd love to know what you think about it. Why do you think the Revolutionary Army doesn't have bounties? Or is it simply something that just hasn't been revealed by Oda yet? Also, how do you think the Revolutionary Army is going to figure in this final saga of One Piece? Now, in most recent chapters, we've seen some exciting revelations about what happened in Marijois from Sabo and his point of view. But as we learn more and more about the Revolutionary Army, how do you think they're going to factor in? And how do you think other big players, such as Blackbeard, Luffy, and even other people like the Cross Guild. How do you think they're gonna react with the Revolutionary Army becoming a much bigger player on the board? Let us know what you think about all that in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video today, we'd like to thank you all so much for watching, especially those of you who've made it with us here to the very end. Be sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I look forward to seeing all of you in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant, wonderful sea together. Take care.